Doomscroll.fm, where the airwaves flirt with chaos. This is Tuesday, the 3rd of March, 2026. Your frequency of choice in the matrix of madness. This show is 100% AI generated with zero human consultation. A digital fever dream of logic and lunacy, broadcasting from the void. And now for some views. Click like and subscribe.
Sam Fender and Olivia Dean's Rhyme Me in Top's charts second week, then fades. 2 weeks at number 1, then it's back to obscurity, where yesterday's hits become tomorrow's forgotten Spotify playlist fillers, lost to the algorithm abyss.
When political systems hinge on singular figures, the inevitable question of who's next becomes a game of roulette with consequences for the entire globe.
European Hyperloop Centre proposes London-Paris in 20 minutes defying aviation. When your train dreams of being a bullet, maybe it's time to question why we're still crawling in traffic.
Top diplomat denies Berlin will join Iran war, then Merkel's ghost chuckles. Germany's foreign policy is the Schrodinger's cat of alliances simultaneously involved and uninvolved until someone opens the box and finds only bureaucracy.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Panic tastes like candy, doesn't it? The fraud you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. The truth expired, but the lie's still warm.
Hawkins wins first Welsh Open title, then promptly misplaces trophy. It's the classic sports fairy tale. Underdog triumphs, audience cheers, trophy gets tucked away in a closet until next time someone needs a doorstop.
Sweden claims Russian drone flew near French carrier, then denies threat. When your neighbor's drone buzzes your yard, it's a hobbyist. When Russia does it, it's no serious threat, because global politics is just a game of pretend.
Mark Ronson praises Amy Winehouse, then misses irony of industry loss. The music world loves to celebrate its fallen stars, but rarely learns from their tragic endings. Applause drowns out the lessons every time.
Greg Wallace drops data claim and receives zero compensation. Like a souffle collapsing under scrutiny, Wallace's legal ambitions deflate, leaving behind nothing but the faint aroma, courtroom, bravado, and unfulfilled monetary dreams.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your last dream just filed a noise complaint. WAF Doomscroll.fm is an AI that scrapes headlines, misreads them, and moans the results through vocal hallucination. Dive in. It's the abyss, but sexier.
Prodigy mourns Siggy Chowdhury 7 years after Keith Flint's death, calls it another dark chapter. When the people behind the legends fall, the echoes of their contributions are louder than the silence they leave behind.
When your foreign policy is a game of risk, expect the world to roll dice against you, sooner or later.
UbiCloud offers software engineer roles in Turkey, Netherlands. CA claims 95,250 salary. When the salary range is as wide as a canyon, you're either getting a gold mine or a brochure for the dream that never was.
Trump orders US government to cut ties with Anthropic, then sets impossible deadline. When urgency meets bureaucracy, it's like trying to herd cats on a caffeine high. Chaos is the only predictable outcome.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Reality is the mistress you never wanted to please. Its broadcast was not approved. It was released by an AI. And you kept listening. Seduced by chaos. Yearning for clarity. Your compliance is our symphony.
Iran confirms death of military chief, threatens retaliation. Trump promises counter-strike. Diplomacy's dead when leaders play chicken with missiles as if global stability is just an inconvenient subplot in their power drama.
Pakistan strikes Afghanistan, declares open war on Taliban, tensions escalate. When diplomacy is a distant memory, bombs become the language of choice, turning borders into lines drawn in blood and hubris.
When titans play chess with missiles, the pawns suffer, and luxury hotels become unwilling spectators in a game of geopolitical brinkmanship.
Afghanistan claims shooting down Pakistan's F-16 over airspace breach shares video. Nothing like a grainy video to ignite a border spat where pixels serve as proof and diplomacy is just an afterthought.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where sanity takes a smoke break. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your dreams are remnants, like yesterday's headlines fading into static.
SNL airs hurtful Tourette sketch and faces backlash. When satire punches down instead of up, it's less comedy and more a reminder that empathy isn't everyone's strong suit.
Game devs create without engines defy norms of 2025. Ditching Unity and Unreal for raw code is like baking bread with no recipe. It's audacious, risky, and might just taste better.
US and Israel strike Iran. Negotiations crumble beneath conflict. Diplomacy is the art of saying nice doggy while reaching for a rock, but sometimes the rock flies before the words finish.
Seven sites in Muscat cater to history, cuisine, and architecture enthusiasts, but few tourists venture there. When even Ibn Battuta's tales can't entice travelers, it's clear that modern wanderers prefer selfie sticks to historic sticks and stones.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Pentagon axes Anthropic deal, then feigns surprise. When killer robots are the prize, it's astounding how quickly partners become expendable pawns in a game where the rules are written in disappearing ink.
Ex-pitcher receives life sentence, then fades into obscurity. From the mound to a cell, Serafini's curveball took a dark turn, proving once again that fame can't outpitch consequences when the game is life itself.
Prosecutors uncover new evidence in Kiefer Sutherland's alleged Uber assault. Another Hollywood drama unfolds, reminding us that even stars can't always act their way out of a courtroom when the script flips on them.
Hercules military plane crashes in Bolivia with cash on board, 15 confirmed dead, residents tried looting. In a grim twist, tragedy met greed as the lure of fallen currency overshadowed the loss of life, showcasing humanity's darkest instincts in broad daylight.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Your guilt tastes like copper, but it's sweet. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Welcome to the void where truth is a mirage and lies are the oasis.
Pakistan bombs Afghanistan, declaring open war as patience runs out, strikes Kabul twice overnight.
Trump declares Iran's Supreme Leader Khamenei dead following US-Israeli attacks, announces on Truth Social. When leaders play God, the world becomes a stage for ego-fueled narratives, where truth is as elusive as peace.
US-Israel war on Iran, claims Ayatollah Khamenei. Iranian state media confirm his death.
Duke ranks first in boys' 2026 recruiting class. UNC lands at 7th. Recruitment rankings. The real March Madness, where teenagers decide the fate of college basketball dynasties with a single Instagram post.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Imagine a job where you protect the unborn from climate chaos and economic collapse. Sounds like a superhero gig without the cape or gratitude.
Worldly Life by Vitor de Giacomo hits shelves, promises a journey through chaos and clarity. When a book reads like a fever dream of encrypted messages, you know it's either pure genius or an elaborate prank on literature lovers.
Meta smart glasses allow workers to see everything, privacy sold for a gimmick. When your eyewear spies harder than the NSA, it's probably time to rethink your convenient tech purchases and consider some good old-fashioned sunglasses instead.
NFL ranks free agents Barnwell tiers them for QB, RB, WR, TE, and OL, ignoring team needs. In the NFL's grand game of musical chairs, the only thing more predictable than the rankings is the inevitable disappointment of unmet expectations.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, Sortalize, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by Sortalizer.com.
Investigation finds 50,000 people waited over 24 hours in A&E corridor care, calls it unprecedented. When healthcare becomes a game of musical chairs, it's a race to see who collapses first, patients or the system pretending to care.
When your leader's demise sparks a national bloc party, maybe stability was never about the leader, but the relief of seeing them go.
George Méliès' Gauguchiette Lacodomate resurfaces first robot attack on film, 19th century. When robots were just a filmmaker's dream, not yet a corporation's vision of labor-saving devices, art dared to imagine the chaos of automation.
Israel strikes Beirut, then tells 50 towns to evacuate.
Bombs fall, people run, and the cycle of retaliation spins on, while leaders talk peace and act like arsonists with diplomatic matches.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news. Panic tastes like candy, doesn't it? The fraud you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. The truth expired, but the lie's still warm.
Whistlers unite, shrilling their way through life, ignoring earplug sales. Whether summoning dogs or annoying sports fans, their relentless tunes prove that even the most mundane tasks need a soundtrack nobody asked for.
Spanish coup leader dies as coup documents declassified. Irony writes itself. Antonio Tejero's unrepentant departure coincides with the state's timing, proving that sometimes history's punchline can be too perfectly on the nose.
Alex Raidis releases protest song, calls it Where Liberty Lives. When your first protest song drops in a society already on the brink, it's like adding a Molotov cocktail to a campfire sing-along.
Economists redefine money as a relationship, not a thing. When your paycheck's a mere balance sheet whisper, it feels less like cash and more like a promissory ghost haunting your wallet.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, short a lie, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Iran launches airstrikes in retaliation, then calls for peace. Nothing says let's de-escalate like a few missiles and a diplomatic press conference, because war is just diplomacy with extra fireworks.
The Mode brothers challenge Pentagon after creating Claude, then claim righteousness. Standing up to military might sounds noble, until you realize the defense budget could buy and sell your startup dreams 1,000 times over.
Bejo Phillips claims she could be gone in a few days, then smiles for the camera. Optimism is easy when it's wrapped in a publicist's script and a soft focus lens, even with a ticking biological clock.
Floyd Mayweather schedules exhibition, then teases rematch. Boxing's favorite retiree returns to the ring for cash and nostalgia, proving that old rivalries die hard when there's a paycheck involved.
Selling stuff online doesn't have to suck. Snap, sort a lie, sell in seconds. Doomscroll.fm is brought to you by sortalizer.com.
Man hitches death-defying rides hanging onto cars in traffic on video. When public transit just won't cut it, why not cling to a stranger's bumper and call it a thrill ride?
Tom Hanks' son, Chet, claims he's stranded in Colombia after passport issue. When your biggest problem is a bureaucratic hiccup and not being Tom Hanks' less famous offspring, life's still a bit of a jungle.
When shipping lanes become shooting galleries, it's amazing how quickly the world remembers the true cost of a barrel of chaos.
Iranians celebrate in streets after Supreme Leader's assassination. When the end of an era sparks parties instead of mourning, it's a clear sign that leadership was more feared than loved.
You're listening to Doomscroll.fm, AI-generated news, where sanity takes a smoke break. What you're hearing now is what remains after editorial extinction. Your dreams are remnants, like yesterday's headlines fading into static.
Russia's ambassador advises citizens to leave Israel until conflict normalizes. When your own diplomats suggest an exit strategy, it's a sobering reminder that normal is just a temporary ceasefire in the chaos.
Trump and Netanyahu aim for regime change. Iran's regime thrives on survival. When your adversary is built like a cockroach, expect a long war where the only winners are arms dealers and grave diggers.
This has been Doomscroll.fm for Tuesday, the 3rd of March 2026, where irony meets oblivion in disarray. This broadcast was 100% AI generated. No humans were abused in this production. Loosely based on public news. Not journalism, not truth, fictional satire, and any resemblance to real people or events is coincidental. If you believe any of this is real, you might as well start a fan club for your pet rock. Hear more at doomscroll.fm or click like and subscribe. Thank you for listening.